All right, everybody, we are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. And today's topic, I have my sister Nadoop with us, and we're going to discuss I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with what happened in the Dominican Republic in regards to the two Black Americans who were, I guess, who died. This was in Dominican Republic. This was last week, or this was a couple weeks ago. Well, first they went missing. Correct, Nadoop? They were considered missing, right?
Yeah, for about 2 weeks. Yes.
Right. So they were missing for about 2 weeks, and then their bodies were recovered. Correct. Like,
Yeah, right. But yeah, their bodies were recovered.
okay. Now, from what they're saying, the story is they were in a car accident and I guess fell off a cliff and drowned in the water. So I'm guessing that's the Atlantic Ocean. Am I right? I'm guessing the ocean.
Right. That was the initial. That was the initial. That's basically what the Dominican police stated, and the mainstream media ran with it.
Right,
I did. Right.
but then the question is, the girl was found on the road. So did she like climb out of the water
She she
and up
was
the cliff?
she was found on the road, and then she actually died in a hospital.
Okay, so what? So do you think she jumped out the car before it went over the cliff, or
She was found several miles away
several miles away from?
from where the car was, the car and Mr. Moore's body was found in the ocean. And she had no, despite being on the way to the airport to go
Right.
back to New York for her flight, she did not have any identification on her. So she spent several days.
So that explains why it took them so long to identify. Because I mean, they were missing like for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Right. So she was in ICU at a hospital, but they could not figure out who she was because she did not have ID on her.
So you're saying why would she? Why would you go to the airport with no ID?
Correct.
So
And not
there's
only that,
something.
but if you're gonna get into a car accidents, I mean, if you're gonna, the car was discovered in the ocean, so it's kind of strange how. Am I hearing my echo? It's kind of strange how they're saying that she was found. What I heard a Dominican guy. This is what he said. It was a comment that he made. He's living in the U.S. He
Uh-huh.
stated that what he heard from his family and the Dominican Republic. How do I take care of this? How do I take
Take
care of
care.
the echo? I'm sorry.
There's no echo. You sound fine to me.
Okay. All right. Well, he's stating that what he heard in the Dominican Republic is that the two were separate. The two were stopped. They were separated,
Hmm.
and she had a gunshot wound to the head.
Okay. Top boss who said
Right.
so top boss who says he was in the Dominican says both individuals were found at separate times. It was later on that it became known that both individuals were together. But again, they were found at separate times in like two completely separate locations.
Yeah, the two step. I did some good research on that, and you use Google Translate to use to go to Dominican. I go to these Dominican websites, news sites, and I just translate it. And basically, she was found in a hospital. She was in a hospital, so they found her like in somewhere that was several miles. And here's the AP article. So the New York Times article is a little bit more detailed, but the AP article basically confirms that she was found several miles away, and then she was transported to the hospital.
Hmm.
So
But
they were found different. Hmm.
no, go ahead, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they were found at different locations. So the question is, if you get into a car accident and and then your car plunges into the water, then both of them are supposed to be together.
Right, because that's what I heard. That's what the story was, that they fell into the water. But I'm like, okay, so she had enough strength to get out the car, swim, climb up the cliff, and
I'm not. Yeah.
right, or she jumped out of the car before it went over. Maybe her seatbelt wasn't on, his was on, he couldn't get the seatbelt off.
Right. Well, the thing is that clearly, the fact is that there are two things here. Number one, the couple, RIP to them. They're black.
Right.
That's
Right.
number one. Number two, Dominican Republic relies on tourism, and it's not just the Dominican Republic, but it's also, the multinational tourism industry that invests billions of dollars, in hotels, resorts, and such. And so they don't want. That's why when a lot of people go to the Dominican Republic, they're always told to, try not to go, try to stay, on the resort, or try not to wander around alone, because they it's not, a lot of people. The Dominican Republic receives millions of tourists a year, so it's not like it's not as bad as. But I think that the couple, I'm not saying that's what it was, but they could have been targeted because they're black, and you can see based on how the response to it was.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because if they were white, they
It would have been. It would
would
have
send in the
continued
Navy
on.
SEALs, full investigation. You know,
Absolutely, yeah. And then actually, two New York State congressmen, well, yeah, actually wrote to the FBI to investigate it, and the FBI has not yet said anything.
but you know what's
So,
crazy?
huh?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I give credit to, one of the congressmen is actually from the Dominican Republic. So and then both of them are saying that the way it happened, the stories don't add up, and there's definitely something wrong. Something is not making sense. And absolutely, there's no way that the lady, they say an autopsy, but even a hospital, you don't need an autopsy to figure out what type of trauma did she receive to the head. The hospitals were not interviewed, nothing. You know, so it's clear that those people, they were killed. And you're looking at like the woman, the white woman who was
Kidnapped in
who was
Uganda that same
abducted.
week in Uganda.
Right, she was abducted in Uganda, and then Trump, he tweeted like this very forceful message, and then the lady was released.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, so two darkies, that's how that's how they look at us. Goes missing, go missing, who cares? That's how they see it, and they're trying to seal it because last week they stated that they would do the autopsy, whatever, and by next week, and it's the end of the week, and nothing
Right.
has. They're trying to seal everything, so no one ever talks about this story again.
Right. Now, can you, for people who don't know, now obviously Dominicans are very anti-black to the point where you'll see a jet black Dominican. Here we go. Put it like this, guys. Sammy Sosa's from the Dominican Republic.
Right.
So to the point where
Right.
you're jet black, nappy hair, but you ain't black though. Like,
I'll tell you, when I was at my university, I had a guy from the Dominican Republic, and so he was a little bit lighter than me. He was still brown skinned, a tad bit lighter than me, and because he was from the Dominican Republic, we always talked and stuff, and he basically told me whenever I would play, I would tell him I had to stop telling him he's black, because he would get really angry, as if calling him black was like, just like condemning him to whatever, condemning him to death. Right. So, I was around 18, 19 years old, and I really did not understand the whole concept of, anything. I didn't really understand it. And then it was a Puerto Rican guy, a little lighter than me, same thing. I'm not black. It would get really angry. When you called him black, I'm not black. I'm not black, and that's it. So as I grew older and I became a little bit more aware of what's going on, I had come to realize that, no matter what people say, and it's not everyone, but there's definitely a strong anti-black sentiment in the Dominican Republic. It stems from the whole policy of racial whitening. They call it blanqueamiento, and it's a long history in South America. And when I say South America, I'm speaking about south of the United States, where you had several policies that resulted to racial whitening. For example, having a whole bunch of paying a whole bunch of Europeans from Portugal, Spain, Italy, and such to migrate to those areas in order to mate with the slaves, the enslaved Africans, and basically whiten the population. So that itself was a policy that was throughout South America, especially the Spanish and Portuguese speaking countries, especially in Brazil. Brazil was as black as Haiti at a point. Right. And now, they literally, whitened the whole population. And the Dominican Republic did not actually get to that point. But one of the other methods of blanqueamiento was the 1937, I think, Parsley Massacre that literally purged tens of thousands of Haitians from the country, killed all of them. And I know elderly people who still have stories, remember the Parsley Massacre. So another more recent example is the revoking the citizenship of Dominicans who are, basically Dominican nationals of Haitian descent. So they literally, so you have a whole bunch of stateless Haitians. So that is the whole thing with white supremacy is that this area, the Western Hemisphere, or whatever, you had a lot of these countries that were predominantly black. Yeah, you had the indigenous population as well, but there were a lot of slaves, like Mexico, Chile, Argentina. That's why you'll see a lot.
Oh, we lost her. She'll hop back on, you guys. But everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share the content as well. Today's topic is, are you back, Nadoop? Okay, the topic is, are the deaths of the two Black Americans in the Dominican part of a larger conspiracy theory? That's today's topic. Shoot, my picture went off as well. I don't know what's going on, people, but it's okay. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. So hopefully, Sister Nadoop will hop back on here shortly. Let's give her a second. We're having technical difficulties all across the board. But again, guys, make sure you hit that like button. And again, we've talked about this before. I do not understand why Black people continue to patronize countries like this. I do not understand why Black people continue to spend their hard-earned money and travel to countries like this. And cry and scream racism here in America, but then you go to the most racist countries on the other side of you go out of your way to go to racist countries like the Dominican Republic. I don't get it. But hey, maybe somebody can enlighten me. Can someone enlighten me in the chat room, please? Can someone please enlighten me in the chat room? Give me a second. I'm trying to see what's wrong with my camera. Oh well, something's wrong with my camera, you guys. I don't know what's wrong with it. But someone in the chat room, please help me out. All right, the dupe is back. The dupe, we had lost you. Yeah, we had lost you. But go ahead, we had lost you.
Oh, sorry. My hands are completely away from the computer, and my browser just like literally erased. I don't know what happened to it. It's very strange. I've never seen anything like this before. But I don't even know where I left off. So
You were talking about. I know you were talking about the kind of like the Spanish to South America whitening.
right. So it's the same it's the same in the Dominican Republic. There's a very strong anti-blackness in the Dominican Republic. Even Dominicans, like I was saying that there's this young man who contacted me through Twitter, and he's about 60. Based on his phenotype, I would say he's about 60, about 55% black, African, whatever. And he contacted me. Basically, he was just like, hitting on me, whatever. And when I went to his page, it was nothing but a bunch of anti-Haitian nonsense. And he literally, actually, a lot of the stuff he was saying was, just because we're anti-Haitian does not mean we're racist. And there was another of his followers who was basically my color, who were making the same comments. So it's clear that these people, they don't see themselves as black at all. And I can go back from, like I said, in my university, that these people don't just, I'm not saying all of them, because I actually had an employee, who was a black Dominican. He considered himself black. He did not see it. So it's not all of them, but there's definitely a strong anti-black sentiment in the Dominican Republic. And when you see a story like this, where you see a couple who they can just completely brush everything off and completely conceal it like that, it shows you how much Black lives really does not matter to anyone.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. But why do, especially black men now, Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, and Brazil, now you go in there to trick off. Why do we just in general, why do black people still want to go to places like Dominican Republic where they treat you like trash?
Well, a lot of it is it's all about what the media tells you. Part of it is what the media tells you is the place to go. So that means that they'll tell you, okay, they'll promote, despite they'll promote their resorts. So whatever the media tells you is safe and it's a great place, and you'll go there. But as far as men going there, I don't want to say much because I really don't want to get attacked. But we have to be honest to an extent. There's a lot of social engineering that exists within the Black community, where women who there's a desire. They're not every Black man, but I know that. I mean, my nephew is almost 6 years old, and he has his little fake girlfriends, but they are light skinned with long hair. So my sister had to talk to him to explain to him, so now he only loves women who looks like my sister.
Okay.
So you have to actually catch that, because no matter it's so ingrained in the society that a lot of times you don't realize it until you get older and you start reading. But you have to catch them at a young age. I'm not saying that liking light-skinned women is a bad thing. What I'm saying is that when you exclusively go after these types of women, then you have to kind of question yourself and say, okay, well, why? Is it because this is what you're seeing on television? You know what I mean? So I think that a lot of men do. It doesn't exist in my all of my brothers have Black wives and girlfriends. However, I have a lot of, and now it's starting to expand to women too. It always did, but not to this extent. I have two of my cousins. They recently, both their sisters, they just married. I didn't go to their wedding because I'm completely anti-interracial dating. and that's it. I don't care what anyone says. I'm against it. And if you understand the it's not, if you understand the agenda, then you will be against it too as a Black person.
Right.
And that's it. So I'm against it, and so I didn't go to her wedding. But there's a level of, I see it all the time when I'm here. It's mostly Black men, but it's getting out there. And then sometimes when you go to these Black women, Black men, Black women, white men, YouTube videos, and you see all these Black women, they're ready to tear you apart if you say anything bad about their white.
Oh, what's her name? Crystal Carolyn.
Yeah, it's even the regular commenters, the ones who comment. Yeah. So I don't have any interest in white men. I'll never do. But there's definitely an agenda, and if we don't understand the agenda, we will not we will continue to follow that path.
Mm-hmm.
So,
man, I would say the self-hate in regards to the Dominican Republic is so deep that I had a barber who was Dominican. He said that his grandma told him not to identify as Black because they don't want to identify with no niggas. And I'm like,
who said that?
My old Dominican barber. Now he was never my. He after that he was never cut my hair again. But yeah, he said that.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, growing up, like I said, I grew up with Dominicans. Like my mom owned a store and a bodega, and she sold it to a Dominican. But we never got. I was a child, so we, young adolescent, so we never actually I never these conversations did not come up. However, later, that's when I come to realize it. And that there's a lot of anti-Blackness in the Dominican Republic. So I am not saying that this specific incident was racially motivated, but it could have been, because let me tell you something. The Dominican Republic, there's a lot of things going on in the Dominican Republic that you don't see on TV, on the news. Like for example, I through WhatsApp, you'll have people sending me these videos. And then I just like the other day, my mom sent me a video and I made a mistake, and then I clicked on it, and there was a Haitian hanging, from a tree in the Dominican Republic. So
Dude, where did this start? Like, please walk us back. One time it was all one island, from my understanding, Hispaniola, and then like, can you explain the history a little bit? Like, what happened?
Well, it was one island, but it was Saint Domingue and Santo Domingo. So it was one French and one Spanish.
Hmm.
So enslaved Africans, my ancestors and your ancestors too, because we all come from the same place. Okay,
all right.
So people don't like to hear that, but it's true. So my ancestors, we fought. And we killed a lot of white people, and rightly so. And so that's why that island is still very much Black. You see, Black people. But the other side, Haiti allegedly so-called occupied Dominican Republic several times. So, but then Haiti actually helped Dominican Republic gain its independence from Spain. But the Dominicans always celebrate their alleged independence from Haitians. That is what is celebrated every year. Actually, it was just recently celebrated. Their independence from Haitians. You see?
So they don't celebrate it from Spain. They celebrate it from
not as far as I do a lot of research and a lot of read a lot of comments and stuff, and I can't really say 100%, but they listen. You have the average wage in the Dominican Republic is $7 a day. Okay, and the Dominican Republic is very much developed. So the question is, why are we the scapegoat, Haitians, when you have a whole bunch of white people who go into your country for tourism, and then they have sex with your 15, 16-year-olds. You have no problem with that, huh?
Younger than that.
Absolutely, younger than that. You have no. They go there. These white tourists from Italy and Canada. They go to the Dominican Republic to, to carry out their perversion, and you don't have any issues with that. But all your problem is with Haitians, and that again stems from the history of racial whitening in the country. You know, so you'll have a Dominican who is dark as me, and they'll tell you, I'm not black. I've seen it many times. I'm not black. I'm not black.
This is shout out to everybody in the chat room. Please, we have 211 people watching, only 54 likes. Please hit that like button. Okay, please hit that like button. I never knew Dominicans celebrated Independence Day from Haiti. Like I never knew that. Spain. I mean, they were colonized. They were colonized by Spain, right?
Yes, they 100% celebrate. And you know what? Venezuela. I really like the president of Venezuela. So Venezuela, huh?
The new one or the old one?
Both of them. Chavez has always been a friend to Haiti. Always. Okay. And I'm talking about like Chavez and after. So the current president of Venezuela, on Dessalines' death, assassination day, he sent out a message. Every time there's some type of Haitian holiday or whatever, he always how do you say it? He always shout out Haiti for helping Venezuela gain their independence.
Oh, I didn't. Tell us about that story. I didn't know that.
Oh, yes, Venezuela. Haiti actually. With Simon, what was it? Simon Bolivar, his name was. He was the liberator of South America. So Haiti provided him with all the guns and everything, the weapons to basically fight. And so the goal was, if you end slavery, I will help you, but you have to end slavery. And that's basically what it was. And then so Chavez has always, let the media tell you whatever they want about Venezuela, but I'm not talking about pre-Chavez. I'm talking about after Chavez. Mm-hmm. They've been very, very good to Haiti. Very, very good. You see, whenever the U.S. assaults Haiti or the international community, it's always them who always stand by and stand up for, and they never forget the so-called debt. Even after the earthquake, Chavez said specifically, he said, when he canceled Haiti's debt, and he said, Haiti, we owe a debt to Haiti that cannot be repaid. You see, for the for helping to liberate. And that's why there's this divide and conquer apparatus that's going on right now with trying to isolate Maduro. You see, so I appreciate the Venezuelans, but the Dominicans, and I'm talking about the society itself. I'm not talking about individuals, because not every Dominican is that way. They're very 100% anti-Haitian. And actually a social scientist recently said that he recommends sterilizing Haitians, secretly sterilizing Haitians in the Dominican Republic who use public hospitals.
Somebody was saying somebody in chat room said that most Dominicans have Haitian ancestors. Is that true?
Absolutely, of course. I mean, think about it. Like I said, okay, you had Christopher Columbus and whatever, and they did not purge all the natives, but Dominican Republic was basically, black people. They had to bring, like I said, the whole racial whitening, blanqueamiento. They had to bring in order to whiten the population. It's not all whitening, but it is to an extent. It's lightened, and there are a lot of white people in the Dominican Republic. It's still about, I would say, about 40% black, but they still have European ancestry. So in order to, they had to have a whole bunch of people, Europeans, migrate to the Dominican Republic in order to lighten it. And that was a policy of the Dominican Republic. So when all these Haitians kept going into the country, were migrating, and so they had to eliminate them, and that's what Trujillo did.
Oh, wow.
So that's what he did. That's, and they, they can't do this now, so they, created a law to keep the Haitians, to revoke citizenship for Haitians who have been in the country for a long time. So Dominican Republic is just, it's just a, and one other thing that, with these resorts and stuff, what they're not going to tell you this, but I actually tweeted about this, which is that recently, from within this year only, they had about over 70 YOLAs, the illegal boat trips to Puerto Rico. But the media never shows you this. That is way more than Haitian.
Okay, what's the illegal boat trip? Like, what do you mean? Like,
well, refugees from the Dominican Republic who's trying to escape to go to Puerto Rico. Over 70 of them were intercepted by the Dominican Navy.
Okay.
But they don't show these things in the media for a reason. Because they have to have an imbalance. I'm sorry.
Why is that?
Well, number one is it's a big problem for the industry because Dominican Republic overwhelmingly rely on tourism.
Right. Yeah.
So that's one thing. So that's another reason why they kept it shut as far as the couple goes because they don't want to risk especially in this age of social media. That's why they had to put a lid on it. However, if it was a white person, then Trump and whoever else,
oh God, they would have said Navy SEALs, special forces, military.
Right, exactly, right. And so you have these two state congressmen from New York. It looks like they're being ignored. So if you had some type of bruise to the head, then she was probably shot. But that is what one Dominican guy said, that she was shot. I don't know if it's true or not, but that is what she's saying. The locals in that area, that's what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. And there was this other guy who visited there, and he is from Kenya, I think. Yeah, from Kenya. Mm-hmm. And he said that he went on social media and told Black people not to visit, not to travel to Dominican Republic because they tried to attack him because they thought he was Haitian.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I just don't see the point of even going, and that's the thing. I just don't understand why people still want to go to the DR.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to say too. Yeah, I don't want to say too much, but
why? Why don't you want to say too much? Why not?
Well, because I don't. What I mean, I don't want to say too much. I just don't. Not I'm saying I don't want to. I don't want to put all Dominicans in the same boat because it's because they're not all the same, but the system itself is that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically all I'm saying. The system itself is very, very anti-Black, anti-Haitian, and it all depends on the area. The more conservative area, like Santiago, is a little bit much, and then it also depends on if it's a nationalist and who's in power. So it also
right.
because you know what I mean. It's kind of like people accuse Trump as fueling racial tension, whatever. It's kind of like that. It depends on who's in power as well. But the system itself is pretty much anti-Black. And if you're dark skinned, not everyone. I'm saying,
It's even
you can
worse.
be targeted. You can be targeted. So you can definitely be targeted. So. And I'm not saying that's what those guys, the two, the couple, I'm not saying they were targeted for that, but the response by the Dominican media, as well as the American media, is racially motivated.
Yeah, it's just pretty much, 2 Black American tourists died in Dominican.
Correct.
In other news,
In
You
other
know,
news, right? Because yeah, and but look at Uganda. So why did they? The person whoever kidnapped this woman actually let her out.
all right,
They released her. So after Trump sent the message,
all
so
right.
why didn't he send a message for those? I mean, they were already killed, but that would have at least forced the Dominican authorities to and it shows like it doesn't even matter, like the AP, for example. If you look at some of the hello.
Yeah, I'm right here. You
Oh,
hear me?
okay. Okay. If you look at some of the news, they said they accused a couple of speeding and
And
drinking,
drug driving, right?
and drunk driving was absolutely no evidence whatsoever. You see, speeding and drunk driving. Yeah. Well, you tell me how they were able to how they were found on two different locations, if that's the case, and how
Right.
is a woman who's on her way to the airport is actually
She doesn't have
um
ID on her.
right, with no ID.
You ever think we're gonna get the truth of what happened?
Um, if the Congress people force them to, I mean,
I
I
mean,
don't think they have
what
that.
can the Congress people really do though? Like,
I know that was a dumb response. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. No, based on the FBI response, it's like very lax. It's not gonna happen, and I don't think that the family has the power to even push it.
yeah, because that's
Yeah,
gonna cost money. Like you need money, lawyers. Yeah.
right. But I know that there's also something with some crooked cops over there, that sometimes what they do is that when they see tourists, and they do they try to they stop them for no reason, and try to make them, force them to give money. So it could have been. I'm not saying that's what it was, but there's a possibility that it could have been stopped by police as well.
Guys, let's hit that
Which,
like button. We have 246 people watching, only 89 likes. Please hit that like button as you come into the chat room. I will greatly, me and Nadoop will greatly appreciate it. We will greatly appreciate it. Yeah. I'm just, I hope they're, especially for the families, they get some type of resolve,
yeah, I mean, I
a
was hearing the
resolution.
grandmother talking, and
Oh,
she's older.
what she saying?
Well, she's older and wiser, but she was saying, she was like, that was Antonio Moore's grandmother, and she's like, well, when you try, you have to hope for the best, but after all these days, 2 weeks, that most likely, you kind of have to expect the worst, you know. So the question is, all this time, this woman was in a hospital, and then in the media, in Dominican media, they kept on saying, okay, we have this person, a woman who's missing. Then how come nobody ever said anything? No
Yeah,
one ever, yeah. So all this time, this woman is in a hospital, and you say nothing, nothing whatsoever. And it's been in the media it's been in the Dominican media more than the U.S. media.
right.
So how come no one at the hospital, no one said anything? How come the people who found her and escorted her, however, to the hospital, how come no one said anything? This is simply clearly a cover up.
Shout out to Ya Ra in the chat room. He brought up there was a massacre by Rafael Trujillo against Haitians at the river or something like that, or
Right. Yeah, it was something like that. They claim was about 13,000, but people put it up to about 25,000. Literally
okay.
massacred everyone.
So what happened? Like what happened with that?
He just basically ordered it. That was a policy of the dictator Trujillo to massacre Haitians. So the thing is that when you have a system where you spend all this money, all this resources, bringing a bunch of Europeans in the country to wipe out the population, then you have a bunch of black ass Haitians going into your country by the thousands and millions. Then you have to find a way to get rid of them. So since you
Right.
were not, yeah, since you were, yeah, you couldn't, you did not want. It would have been too much resistance to just push them out, kick them out. So he just isolated all of them, just killed all of them. And actually, this woman,
when was this? When was
that
this?
was in the 30s. And
And in
actually,
the third, and then the 20s and 30s is when the U.S. invasion happened too, right?
yes, it had yes, a few years after the U.S. invasion. I'm sorry, a few years after the U.S. left. It was 1937. So and the U.S. left in 1934. From 1915 to 1934, the U.S. was in Haiti, changing everything that Dessalines worked for. And
I think we talked. I think we talked about this before. No, go ahead. Go ahead and finish your statement.
and let me tell you how these Dominicans are, right? Now, you know, I don't like to. I don't want to say that, but so
No,
this
no, no, no.
woman,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
there's
ahead.
a woman, so she's mixed race. You know, she has, you can tell she's black, white, and whatever, and native. So this woman helps Haitians in the town that she's in because that's her way of giving back because of the Trujillo massacre. And a lot of Dominicans pissed off at her, telling her that um, Trujillo was defending his country by eliminating tens of thousands, up to 25,000 Haitians. You see, these are Dominicans who attacked the woman because she is because her grandfather killed a lot of Haitians.
Wow.
Right, and he was just basically doing, you know, like that, like they usually say, you know, he was a soldier, so he was doing what he was ordered to do. So this
Mm,
Dominican woman gets a lot of flack from Dominicans for being so cordial to Haitians because of what her ancestor did. And then the
wow.
Dominicans are, she gets a lot of flack from Dominicans for that.
Now, somebody in the chat room mentioned that them having a U.S. passport should have saved them. So it's more to the story. Now, there was another story similar in Greece with Bakari Henderson. Are you familiar with that story?
Right.
A couple
Oh
of years back.
yeah, he got killed. Young man, 20 something years old.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
So,
this is why. Yeah.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is why. You made a comment. You made a video not too long ago about not going to places where, you know, that's not black friendly,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah,
And there were some
yeah.
people in the comments saying that, oh, I've been to Greece, I've been to this place, I've been to that place. It's all in your head. I'm like, well, okay, well, tell that to Bakari Henderson,
His
or
parents,
then
yeah,
tell
tell
that
that
to
to
the
his
other
parents.
young woman in Israel who drowned mysteriously, or other people.
That was a couple years back too. The sister, she just was she was on like a retreat with people, like with like some type of tour, and she just
Right.
drowned mysteriously. Yeah.
Right. And you know what? If I don't admit this, then you know I'm lying to myself. I was at a point. It was not a it was not a Lindsay time, but I was at a point in Negropean. You know,
Mm-hmm.
growing up, you think that, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I was, yeah.
right. And so I always, this is, there was a level of shame that probably existed in me. But now,
Mm-hmm.
so when I see these young people who are so happy to go to these European countries or these Asian countries, I'm like, okay, whatever, you know. But that did kind of exist in me. I always dreamt of going to the Eiffel Tower and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. That does not, I don't have any interest in that stuff anymore. So a lot of young people, they go, and it's when you're black, you always have to watch out, and it's not only in European countries, Asian countries as well,
Oh yeah.
and even right. So you were saying someone in the chat was saying something.
No, no, no. They just brought up, the American passports could have saved them, but I'm like, well, it didn't.
Well, it did not save them, and then one more time, what happened to this woman's identification?
Exactly.
What happened to her ID? The AP
Well, no, no,
has
no,
no
but
respect.
now the one was Jamaican, right?
The guy, based on the mother, I'm not gonna. It's for some British, former yeah. I don't know if it's Jamaican, but it's something. I don't know if he was Jamaican, but he was from one of those islands. Based on the way the grandma with the accent.
Mm. Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
So he was. Both of them could have been. I don't know, but he was definitely. from the islands. Hmm. And which could have added to it too, because like I told you, the Kenyan guy said he was attacked
Right.
because of his accent and the way he looks. They thought he was Haitian.
Yeah, I had a friend that did work study in like something with their school in Haiti, and she said the same thing. So
Uh,
as far as her having issues, it's just racism, them thinking she was Haitian. She's Ghanaian. Yeah.
gee. Yeah, yeah. It's and you know what? And okay, now I got my thought together. This is one of the reasons why I said I don't want to make it seem like it's all Dominicans, because there are a lot of dark skinned Dominicans who go through the same thing.
Right.
Right. So that's what I meant to say. There are a lot of dark skinned Dominicans who go through the same thing, who are attacked, called Haitian, and all this stuff. So it's just a matter of the way the system in Brazil. It's basically the same. A lot of these countries that went through racial whitening. It's the same. It's like that. A lot of those countries. So yeah, and Chile is another one. A lot of Haitians were.
Trinidad.
No. Chile.
Chile. Okay,
Chile.
okay. Chile. I
Hmm.
understand Trinity.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. A lot of Haitians were duped into going there, and the president literally sent a whole bunch back, allegedly voluntarily, but I know that's not the case.
What was this?
Right now, it's been several plane rides back to Haiti. So this was what it was. It was the Clintons, the UN, and several other parties. They had some type of so-called migration pact going on. So what
Mm-hmm.
they did is that they fought in order to steal a whole bunch of land from in Haiti. Um, they basically created this scheme where they had a whole bunch of Haitians leave the country
Oh
and
wow.
promised them all these great stuff. So a lot of Haitians, they sold all their land. One lady I know personally, she actually sold all her land. She sold her business, everything, and she paid about $14,000 to send her child to two of her sons to Brazil. And once they got to Brazil, they traveled to Mexico and then into California, and Obama detained them, and they were sent. And then next thing you know, the mom got a call from Haitian police in Port-au-Prince, because they lived in northern Haiti, to come pick up their son. And this is one of several instances where you see foreigners, like this area where we bought land, and you see nothing, a bunch of big mountaintop homes owned by white people. They have been land grabbing like crazy. And this is why you have black people need to understand that you have to be able to land is wealth and it's power, and that's why they go all over the place, making sure that they just take your land, and they do it. You had a video about that. With Africa, there's a reason why the land is actually, land in Africa is actually the prices are increasing so much.
It's crazy. Like it's ridiculous.
Yep. So.
I'm trying to tell people, like, I know you want to be a Captain American Negro, which is fine. You want to be Captain Black American, that's okay. But you know, you get
Just
priced
grab
out. I
yours.
mean,
Just take it where, yeah. Take it
because
how
this
you
is the thing
can,
that
right? Because that's what we have to really get smart about it, because that's what white people are doing. While the white people is portraying Haiti as a shithole, they're stealing all the fucking land. And I know this for a fact. 100%. 100%. They take these lands and they buy them up and then they promise these people a beautiful life elsewhere. They go and then they come back. One guy committed suicide because
right.
of that. He sold all his stuff, and then Chile sent him back, allegedly voluntarily, and he had nothing, and he hung himself and left a letter. Young
Here in
20,
America.
27-year-old young man.
Mm.
People have to really get smart about black people. Yeah, I'm not worried about anyone else but black people, and
Right.
people really need to get smart about what's going on. So
Mm-hmm.
as far as the Dominican Republic goes, I can't tell anyone not to visit, but you just have to. I think the white lady, who also It was a white lady who pushed that nonsense as well. A white lady from Canada, they allegedly befriended. She pushed this nonsense that they were drinking.
Oh, see, I didn't know. Oh, so okay, you gotta tell me the whole story. So you didn't tell me that part.
Well, okay. So this couple were after they booked the what's the name, the resort, wherever. After they booked it, they realized that the airport was was a little was far away from the resort. You see, so
Mm-hmm.
I find it a little strange that a group of people, I mean, sorry, a couple who was a little who was afraid, who was concerned about driving, so far away, in a country they're not familiar with, would get drunk on
Right.
their way to the airport. Why would you get drunk on your way to the airport?
Yeah, usually you
And
get
then you
drunk on the.
express
No,
that
I'm
you were
saying,
concerned.
yeah, usually you get drunk on the plane.
Okay, there you go. Okay, I don't know. Okay, right. So
I'm
why would
saying,
they? And there was
yeah.
it was a white lady that promoted that nonsense, and then the media ran with it. If you see some of the headlines, it'll say that a couple from New York found dead in a parent in a parent car accident.
Right.
That's what the AP reported. But the AP had no problem in the same what's the name, in the same article, reported that the lady was found miles away from and then he was out of the vehicle. His body was found out of the vehicle, not inside.
But in the water, right? Or no?
It was decomposed. It was in the first stage of
Right, right. It's decomposed. Right,
decomposing.
exactly.
Right, in the water, correct. There's a video online with the authorities that removing the vehicle out of
So
there.
okay,
So I'm curious. Yeah.
somebody was saying that the lady got ejected from the car. That's why uh it was so separate.
So she got
The
ejected
body.
from the car and actually miles later. I mean, sorry, miles away, several miles away.
Right,
Before I
exactly.
actually got on this, before I got on here, I made sure that I went to every media. I went on Spanish media, and they found her several miles away from and even one of the authorities said that we are going to continue this investigation because it's not adding up. That is what one guy from Dominican, but that was on the 10th or the 12th. But now
Mm-hmm.
we're on the 20 something, and he said that
Today's 21st, I think so. 20.
right. And
What
yes,
is
and if
today?
you research the last article, the 21st, the last article you'll see on this is on the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
I checked everywhere. I went to Dominican, whatever. I don't see anything else. I mean,
Right.
hopefully they could bring some stuff up. They can they can update us. But based on what I see, I don't see anything. Yeah, the media ran with the whole story of them basically into a car. Having a car accident, and even so, she was ejected from the car. How is that even possible?
Yeah, that's I don't know. That's crazy. Yeah, her body is found on the side of the road, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is wild.
Based on the story, it was not possible for her body to be ejected from the car.
Listen, somebody said Cape Haitian is the playground for Caucasians.
Yes. Oh my God. My cousin went to Labadie the other day, and he sent me the picture. Nothing but white people. They done took up everything, 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 everything. They took up all the land, all the beaches. They bought everything in the country. Everything. You don't see not one black person there,
Mhm.
literally. And that's right near Cape. That's right near Cape Haitian. That it was actually back in the 80s. That's when the dictator handed over to Royal Caribbean, and ever since then, that's when the whites have been moving in. They took everything, and even in the South, in Jacmel. In Jacmel, they took up all the beaches. Go on, all you gotta just go on Airbnb. You'll see. You'll see the little profile. You'll see nothing but a bunch of people from France. A lot of people from France, U.S., Canada. They bought the land, and that's one of the reasons why I created this conspiracy of manipulating Haitians to sell all their lands, because the history of Haiti is that the founding fathers gave every family after the revolution a plot of land. So you will never hear.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yep. We had land. I mean, my grandmother, still has. She gave hers to her sister, but my grandmother still has land in Grand Rivière du Nord, Grand River of the North, which is where Dessalines was born. That's where my grandmother was born. And that I still have a lot of family there. So
that's so how did the white people get the land? Like, they just buy it, or like, I'm just trying to figure out. Like,
listen, I think that there's some type of sellout gene that exists in the Negro race. You understand me? Because there's no other group of people who sell their people out as much as Black people. I don't care where you are. It's just a fact.
Right.
You understand me? I don't care if you're in Africa, if you're Caribbean, if you're look at these Caribbean leaders who recently met Trump to sign the U.S. Caribbean resilience whatever, in order to SOFCOM to reoccupy the country in order to counter Russian and Chinese alleged influence in the area. Right. They were very happy and giddy about going there and signing. But they're not going to fight for development in those countries, but they'll fight for the white man to occupy them. So I think that the problem. So I'm going back to what I was saying. The problem is too many sellouts, willing to sell out their country. You understand me? So there's a lot of resistance that exists in the people, and the leaders who do come in and try to resist. It's just it's very tough to go up against Europeans with all their weapons, basically. So the dictator Duvalier, the baby doc, the son, in 1986, he gave Royal Caribbean Cruise a contract to take over Labadie for 200 something years. I think it's 260 years or something.
Oh God.
Right. So a lot of the people in my business, a lot of the people who we take to the port, that's where they go to Labadie. So that area has become a white haven. So they basically bought up all the land. So this was not possible. It was only made possible because of the occupation, the U.S. occupation that completely changed the Constitution in order to allow white people to.
Oh, did we lose you? Nadoop, you there? Nadoop.
Yes. Yeah, Dessalines blocked it. Yeah, Dessalines blocked whites owning land in Haiti, and the U.S. changed that.
Right.
Yeah, they changed that. So they changed that and took up all the land. I don't have any proof of that, but lots of people say that Hillary Clinton bought a whole bunch of land in Haiti.
Of course you do.
But I do not have any proof of that, so I can't confirm it. But I've been hearing it for years.
Of course you do.
Huh?
I said, of course you do.
Right. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what I've been hearing for a really long time. That's from residents, from locals in the area who's been saying it. So.
Somebody said they go to the area you just said that Haitians have to have a passport to go there.
Right. And yeah, basically they do, and they only allow a little bit of Haitians there. And those are the Haitians who they're allowed to sell to the they're allowed to sell to the whites, the visitors and stuff like that. So they're and then they try to do that with a whole bunch of other places in the country, because Haiti has a lot of nice beaches, just like the Dominican Republic. So they try to do that with a lot of places, but there's a lot of resisting, a lot of resilience, like, and so the way they punish Haiti is by, like, for example, you have Yemen, who is at war, Saudi
Right.
Arabia, yeah, you have, Libyan, those are level 4 warnings. And what they did is that they put Haiti on a level 4 warning as well. So Haiti is
Wow.
not at war with anyone, but it's a level 4 warning. Trump put that, telling people not to visit Haiti.
Somebody said if they could pronounce parsley properly in Spanish, they were killed. Lily, what are you talking about?
Huh?
Pronounce parsley proper? I don't know.
Oh,
Uh,
I don't know. I can't confirm this. I don't know. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't want to speak on something I'm not aware of, so I'm not sure. But all I knew is that there were people who I knew from, who lived in the border, and people who were living in Dominican Republic, and they were, a lot. Some of them, it was just a spontaneous, just killing, just a whole, just, and if you do the research on the Latin American area, that is just, racial whitening. There's no way that, okay, let's be honest, okay? There's no way the
right.
United States, a white supremacist country, okay, or that's controlled by white supremacists, would have allowed a whole bunch of, a large country like Venezuela, or Chile, or, a average sized country, or say, um, Argentina, those type of countries. There's no way they would have allowed a sizable amount of black people in the country, a majority black. So that's why
Right.
they had to whiten those populations,
Right.
and right. So there's no way they would have allowed that, but Haiti is unique because Haiti killed all the whites and kicked them out. So that's why you have, Haiti is basically what they call Little Africa, you know.
Somebody said it's called the Massacre. Parsley Massacre. Parlay
Yeah,
Massacre.
right. Well, I don't really know how to. Maybe I'm not pronouncing it right, but that's what it is, right? I just call it Parsley Massacre. So,
Okay.
but right, that's what it was. Look it up. I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, I want to do. I also want to do. Not now because I'm going to Jersey to visit my grandmama. But I want to do a thing with you on, the history of Pan Africanism as well.
Okay.
The history, yeah, Haiti's history, Haiti's, contribution to Pan
Okay.
Africanism.
So
A lot of
whenever
people
you.
don't know that there were, leaders in Haiti that fought in the Ethiopian War. A lot of people don't know this. So that's something I want to bring, discuss, but in a few weeks or so. So.
You there?
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Read it. I was saying anything you'd like to share in closing.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to say, upon reading the story of the couple who died,
Uh huh.
it broke my heart. And one reason is because the way they tried to victimize, blame the victims, as if, they were car accidents, this type of stuff, I mean, you are considered independent media. So it's our job
Right.
to actually come out and speak out about it. That's why I emailed you. I said, that is, you got to talk about this stuff because
Yeah.
it's sad. You have this grief. I don't know what I would do, if I knew that I had a loved one who was missing, and I would read these articles about them, driving drunk, and speeding. Is that okay? We're supposed to counter this type of propaganda, regardless of who you are as a black person. It's absolutely imperative that you counter these things, because there's no fucking way that two people can be in a vehicle, get into an accident, fall off fall into the ocean, and then one is found, miles away. and then ended up in a hospital for over a week, and no one said anything about it.
Right.
Even though it was in news.
Over ain't gonna say shit. Of course not.
It doesn't make any sense. So I said to myself, that it's just so important. I went online, tried to look up, and I think Phil he did a video on that. Phil Advice Show. He did a video on that, but he didn't do an update, but he did do a video on it. So it's just so important. Yeah, so that's basically I just wanted to make sure that it's out there as much as possible, because the media, the AP, you should see the article. It's so bad. It's so careless. It shows that how they don't give a damn about black lives, black bodies, black death, nothing. It, how the hell did that white lady in Uganda, how did she end up being released? Because of Trump.
All right.
Because he was forceful. He said, release my my citizen, release them. And then they, however it happened, the Uganda government did what they had to do, and that's it. It happened. So I'm not, the couple was already dead. Okay, true. But the aftermath, the way they handle it, the way they try to make it seem, why? Because their resorts, the $1 million, the millions and possibly billions that they could lose, if people decide, if it becomes a big deal in the media, it's more important than, black people dying.
All right. Exactly.
And in a country that has a history of being anti-black. So.
All right, this last shout out to Chima for the super chat last statement. Chima says, I may sound crazy for saying this, but it seems like the West's goal is to wipe out most of the Haitian population and leave the land open for white settlement and mineral exploitation.
Okay, he's not crazy. This is what I've been trying to push for forever. He's not crazy. That's exactly what's happening. That's exactly. You're talking about the pushing them out and forcing them to go to Brazil. And then the people who are going to these countries are not people who are suffering. These people had land, they had animals, they had a whole. I'll email you some pictures. You see? So the question is, what the cat after the earthquake, the so-called reconstruction by Bill Clinton, why there was no earthquake in the north? So how come you built a huge sweatshop in the north, Caracol, okay? A huge sweatshop in the north where you have a whole bunch of gold. You pushed off a whole bunch of people off their land to build a sweatshop in an area that was not affected by the earthquake. That has been the goal of that. That's been your goal for a while. You understand me? You have no idea. I mean, I will send you a picture also of there's another one. Haiti has 3 satellite islands. Inavash, Island of Cows, Turtle Island, and La Gonave Island. In 2016, the president that Hillary Clinton put into power against the democratic will of the people gave that island up to oil developers. They gave it up. 2016 by decree. The puppet. What are you laughing at?
No, I'm reading these.
They're talking shit. Yeah, gave it up to oil developers. Okay, so the next president had to cancel it. Look it up. Gonave Island. The puppet president gave it up, and then go online on YouTube. Do a search for La Gonave. You're going to see a white guy. His last name is Price. He is an oil developer, and he's talking about La Gonave and how he wants to, how they're going to turn it. That was in 2010, a few months after the earthquake. They're going to turn it into an international financial center. By 2016, the island was seized to them.
Wow.
Okay. Gonave. Look it up. That's an island in Haiti, in satellite island that is that it's about 10,000, not 90, 100,000 people that live on that island. And so what they did the other day is that they sent a whole bunch of thugs to burn down a bunch of homes that's actually in the entry, that's entry to the port to get to the island. They burned down all the homes there, all of them. You don't see that on Anderson Cooper.
Of course not.
You don't see it on CNN. You know, they burned down all of them. I'll email you the picture and I'll show you. And that area is the area where you get to the port. To the port in order to take a boat to the island. They have been massacring these people forever. And I blame it on the Negroes in the country who continuously sell their souls, sell their country, sell their people, sell their dignity, sell their blackness, okay, for a few millions or $100,000s of dollars to the white man. Because they cannot, the only way they can go in is if you allow them in. Mm-hmm. There's an anti-intellectual puppet class in the country that is responsible for everything that's going on there. So the young person, I forgot his name, Chamu. I'm sorry, what's his name? He is correct. Yes, 100% correct. That's exactly what's happening. And if you follow me on Twitter on Madam Bookman, you will see I try to chronicle as much as possible on what's going on in Haiti. And it's always an invisible hand. And they put, in order to mask it, they put a bunch of tan Arabs there. They're all rich people who live in the hills of Pinchoteville off the Capitol. And they arm, you see young black dumbass niggas with brand new semi-automatics. 2007, Haiti does not produce any weapons or ammunition.
Right. That's the majority of
2007, the U.S. government created the fourth largest embassy in the world in Haiti, the shithole country, the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. My ass, you know. So that doesn't matter. Let me tell you, like I said, it doesn't matter where you are. Black is black. So that means that the more this comes out, because they have their agenda is the same for everyone. Everybody, the agenda is to weaken black people as much as possible in order to maintain the white power structure. Mm-hmm. So I know you're hungry, Darn it, so I'm gonna shut the fuck up right now.
I already ate. I ate before you came on. Before you came on.
Yeah. So in closing, I'm gonna say I hope that there's I don't think it's gonna happen, but I hope that something, can happen for these for these two lost souls, because everywhere you hear a lot of comments, they were very well known in Mount Vernon. People say Antonio Moore was such a nice guy. It was they loved each other. Good representation. They represented Black love basically, and those two died. And the Dominican guy said that she suffered. They were separated. That's what he said. He said, "I hope that I'm not being anti-Dominican, but I am sick and tired of what's going on in the Dominican Republic right now."
Right.
Yeah, and he's a Dominican.
You said Antonio Moore said that?
No, a Dominican guy said that. He said that the couple, they were separated. Mm-hmm. He said they were separated, and he said that I hope that I am not. He said I don't care if people say I'm anti-Dominican, because he's Dominican American, but he said that he has to speak out because the beautiful couple was murdered. That's what he said. He said and the locals know it. And then they said he was. They say she was actually found in the bushes. That's what they say. That's what the locals say. So.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
So Nadoop, how can people reach you? I know you have your Twitter page.
Yeah, I only have Twitter. So anyone who's interested in what's going on in Haiti, it's Madam Bookman. So I'm the wife of Duddy Bookman. The great voodoo priest who who spearheaded the Haitian Revolution, Madame Boukman, Boukman. And that's on Twitter. That's all I have. I don't use Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Why you don't use Facebook?
Because Facebook they suspended me twice, and I just got tired of it, so I just canceled out altogether.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, Nadoop, we appreciate you for joining us, guys. Make sure you go to Search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, family. Dynasty Mirror, Search for Uhuru, and also make sure you follow Nadoop on Twitter, Madame Bookman. Make sure you follow her on Twitter. Until next time, family. Peace.